Mika and welcome to the Always Always Support Local podcast. Today we have Warren with Artist Stone Hawaii. Kailua boy, so we're just here to talk story. He's gonna share his story of where he grew up to where he is now as a successful business owner. So, and all of you know, hopefully she's gonna join us for a little bit. So, first question, Warren. Where did you grow up? And just let everyone know the band behind Artist Stone Hawaii.
Well, I grew up starting in Makaha, homeless on the beach, taken in by a family at Miley Point first, and we made our way down to Makaha. I spent most of my childhood on the west side, and then when I was 13, I moved to Waikiki, and in 1990, I made my way over to Kailua. And as a 13-year-old kid with no parental supervision, you can imagine the streets. The streets in Waikiki in the 1980s was a great time. A good time to
life was different.
Very, very. So yeah, it was a little bit wild. I had an adventurous adolescent, to young adult period in my life, and where things got a little bit crazy, and I decided to pack my stuff up and move to Kailua because it was a sleepy little beach town, and it was fun to be there. The beaches were real nice. I met a couple of really cool Kailua families there. The Youngs kind of took me in as their Hanai son, aka babysitter, and that was at the end of Lanikai. And then I just moved around Kailua, since 1990. And then I met my wife, and in 1998. And we stayed at the same house. I've been in Kailua with her. She's an old school Kailua girl, old school Kailua family, the Kincaids. They've been around in Kailua since the 50s. Wow. So
that's some serious roots.
Yeah. So she's a Kailua girl. A lot of guys, you're Kailua boy, right? I says, I am now. Yeah, I've been in Kailua for the better part of 35 years or whatever.
You can claim it.
Yeah, I know, and I do. Everybody asks me where I'm from. I say, I live in Kailua. It's funny because people ask you where you're from. I'm kind of from everywhere in general, but nowhere in particular. Mm-hmm. I spent a little bit of time in the mainland with my mom. My mom and dad were never married, so I spent some time in the mainland. I did a couple of years of school in the mainland with my mom. She ended up passing away when I was 12, and I've been in Hawaii ever since. I never got to go to the mainland except to visit my auntie, many years ago. But other than that, I've been pretty much not necessarily stuck in Kailua or Hawaii in general, but chose to stay. And that's basically my.
So in all your adventurous experiences, what made you, or what inspired you to open up your business that you have now? Or tell me about your business first.
So my business is I'm a stone mason, a tile guy. I specifically focus mainly on swimming pool renovations, remodels, and builds now, because that was something that I manifested from being a tile guy. I do everything in between too as well. Big floor, whole house layouts, bathrooms, kitchens. I do stamped concrete, vinyl flooring, and all that kind of good stuff too. But the pool thing was something that I fell in love with because of its organic nature. The way that job is done, the remodels, and then the kind of like forensic science behind figuring out why a pool fell apart and how to fix it and make it last forever.
Right.
Something that really sparked my interest and got me super motivated in being good at. And that's I think that when people focus on one niche of their particular living, they have a tendency to go above and beyond.
Right.
And that's my thing. I focus on extremely high quality. I've literally put in hundreds of square feet, looked at it a couple of days later and was like, that's not good enough.
Wow.
And I've had clients be like, why did you take it all out? I said, because it wasn't good enough.
Right.
I want it to be good enough for me. It was fine for us. I said, it might be fine for you, but I went home last night and I didn't sleep.
Right.
Because of what I saw. It looked perfectly fine to me. Well, it didn't look perfectly fine to me.
But I'm sure in the big scheme, like in that, with each project, I'm sure they appreciate that. I know I would, because,
absolutely. And I think that's the thing I think that's what's made me as successful as I am now, is the relationships that I've built with my clients.
Right.
Almost every single client but as you know, you can't make everybody happy, right?
Right.
You know,
You do your best.
In 25 years of me doing this as a tile guy, a stone guy, I've had 2 very unhappy clients, but they were also the type of clients that I don't think anybody would have ever made happy.
There's some people you just can't.
That's just the way it works, and I understand that. So I also am a very open book when it comes to my professional life, and then the life that I lead outside of my family life.
Mm-hmm.
I'm super open book about that, and I speak with my clients as if they're friends already. And I hope to make friends with most of them anyway, and have them invite me over for a barbecue to jump in their pool, all that kind of stuff. So I think that's what's really made me successful, is to be able to focus on quality, and then the client, of course, appreciating the extra mile. So.
But that's awesome though, that you found something that you love to do.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And you love doing it, from the planning to the building, from A to Z.
Yeah.
You found your thing.
Yeah, what's funny for me is I fell out of love with what I do about 4 years ago. I had some issues, without being too forthcoming, like some mental health issues.
Mm-hmm.
I had got into a situation where I got a brick smashed over my head, and it sent me into this downward spiral of 4 months of me not working and wondering what the hell I'm doing with my life, and do I even really like what I do, or should I be on to something else, like my sports and entertainment thing. But I want to share this story with you because so I might even get emotional about it, because it's something that really saved my life, and it's based on what I do for a living. And there's a reason why I stick with what I do now, because I was at a very low point, and I ran across a guy who called me up, and he says, "Hey, my brother called me and he told me that you're the man to get our swimming pool done." And then I was like, "Okay." He's like, "My brother is Jeff Num." And I says, "Well, Jeff is a tile guy." He's like, "Yeah, me too." Huh. I says, "So why are you guys calling me to do your swimming pool?" Right. He says, "Because my brother said you're the man, bro." And I was like, "But you guys are tile guys.
We do the same profession.
We do the same thing for work." And he goes, "Yeah, I said tile and I do that. I work at Kamehameha Schools now." This guy was Kalani Num. And his father-in-law is John Andrade. He's a retired police captain and liquor commission head who built the pool by himself by hand. Wow. And he had been going through some stuff. He lost his wife and all that kind of stuff. I'm going to shorten the story for you just a tiny bit. I decided to take the job at my lowest point, and I was there and I was speaking with John, and he was very forthcoming with his emotions and losing his wife and having somebody to talk to. Well, he told me a story about a hand digging, and I was like, "Bro, why are you having me tile your pool?"
Right.
He says, "Hey, this whole timing thing," and this is when the light went off, boom, for me. And I was like, I have this theory in life: time does not exist. Time is a figment of our imagination. We use it to be industrious, but timing is everything.
Facts.
And so he told me the timing is right. Everything is right. The timing is right. This is why you're here. And I was like, I kind of got emotional. He got emotional, and I was like, "Wow, he's absolutely right." I'm a guy that's always listened to my elders too. So what he was saying to me really resonated with me. And then I was there, and I'd stay there for long hours, and I'd work really, really slow because I didn't want to leave. Yeah. I wanted to be there. And I started to fall in love with what I did again. And I felt it like a lot. And then the very end of the job, I buttoned everything up, got everything done super, super solid. I got my last paycheck. John says, "I'm going to miss you." And I told him, "John, I want to thank you and Kalani both for saving my life, because I don't know where I would be without you guys." And he says, "I'm going to miss you. You will come by, so jump in my swimming pool." He says, "I would be honored to. I have my son come bless the swimming pool if we can." Unfortunately, Kalani passed away a couple of years ago from I don't want to say COVID, but he was in the hospital. Mm-hmm. He had gotten real sick and whatnot. Ended up passing away. And I hold that in my heart every single day that I go to work, and I feel defeated or frustrated about something that's going on in my life as far as work is concerned. And I lean back on that particular instance and remember that I'm not tricking myself into being in love with what I do. I honestly love what I do. Being outside, especially the pools and decks. Yes, being outside in an organic nature with an organic feel, with everything being curved and strange and semi-difficult to do.
Really difficult to do.
I really fell in love with what I do, and I do love what I do, and I think it shows in the quality of work that I do too, because I actually A lot of people go through their lives and they do what they do because that's what they have to do.
Right.
I don't have to do this for work. I don't do it for the money either. Some people find my prices to be like, what? And I'm like, I'm not doing it for the money. I'm doing it because I love to do it and I want to help you. I want to help you out. And then so that's basically where I'm at with my profession. Is I absolutely love what I do. I love being of service to any client that can use me for their needs. And I think that that's the way I think with the rest of my professional.
Everything happens for a reason. Even you may not understand it. You're going through your reset. That's what I'm going to call it.
Oh, it's a massive
your reset.
reset.
You know what I mean? And
yeah.
the universe knew you needed a hard reset because that's just how you're wired. So it's like, okay, I need to put it in front of him so he knows this is, this is for a reason. And that was it. That's awesome.
It was a heavy trip for me, like to be able to have a guy that's a really good guy. Well, these brothers are mean. I mean, they're good. They're good at what they do. They're good tile setters. The kind of guys I would hire to do my house.
Yeah. They're
that good. And they asked me to do their stuff, and I was just like, I was really taken back by it. I was like, I couldn't almost comprehend what was going on. I was like, what, bro? Like, and then he was doing the coping around the pool, and he was working, we talking story and all that kind of stuff. He's like, bro, I don't even know how you do that. I would never even be able to wrap my mind around what you're doing right now. And I'm like, what do you mean? You're a tile guy. You're a tile, bro. Like the mosaic thing, and then I'm a very artistic minded individual. That's why the artist stone name is there too. It's a play on words. I do this with my music and all that kind of stuff too. Is art, stone, artisan, stonemason, artist stone, Hawaii. It all just kind of makes sense to me, right? Yeah. So I ran with that name, and I was given the opportunity to. It used to be 7 stone. I believe in numerology and all that kind of stuff. 7 is a number that I have an affinity with. And I used to be called 7 stone, and my old mentor was like, "That sounds so dumb. You made cards that have 777 on it. What am I going to take a gamble on you doing a job at my house?"
That's a different perspective on that.
Yeah, then I kind of was like, oh, and he's an elder. He's an elder of mine too, right? He's one of my mentors. So I was just like, oh God, Uncle Jimmy.
I got to listen to that.
Uncle Jimmy, you're right. I was like, he's like, you got to change the name of your business, bro. Why don't you just call it Warren's Tile? And I was like, Warren Tile, Warren. I don't know. That's kind of. I don't want to use my name so much. Whatever. And I started thinking, I was like, he's like, bro, you're an artist. Why don't you like? And I was like, it's artisan, stone, artisan, artist, stone.
There it is.
Artist stone, Hawaii. How's that? And he goes,
perfect.
You're a genius. And I was like, that was it. So I decided to, do that. And that was probably about, I want to say, I changed the name to Artist Stone Hawaii about 16 years ago. And I focus on very high-end stuff and anything that can give me an artistic outlet. Custom travertine with inlays with river rock and custom mosaic swimming pool stuff. That's random quartzite without using a grinder.
Right.
It's all stuff that it's
like
an art form. It's really an art form, and my artistic mind absorbs that, and I'm able to do that type of work with the artistic representation. The way I think that's why I love it so much.
So, question: aside from the artistic expression, how did you learn, or who did you learn from to do it, like the techniques? And because there's all kinds of techniques, you know what I mean? So what did you learn to master your craft?
I am not a master of my craft by any means at all. I'm not a master. I'll tell you that right now. I'm somebody that loves what I do, and I do a really good job because it's something I love to do. I focus on quality. But the number one person that I have to thank for me being where I'm at is Jimmy K. He's JK Tile and Stone. He's an old man from Kailua and took a whole bunch of young guys from Kailua under his wing and showed us all his techniques and stuff like that. And now he's the one calling me for advice about how to do certain things because he understands my mindset. Yeah. But he's the number one reason. I don't have any idea where I learned, how. Honestly, I don't even know. I did some tile work with an uncle of mine when I was young, 9, 10 years old. And then again when I was like 15, and then again when I was like 19, and I was just like, okay, I can do this. It's something I can do. I wanted to be a chef. I wanted to be a chef. I went to culinary school. I wanted to be a chef. I worked in restaurants. I opened 2 restaurants with John Harada back in the day, and that's what I wanted to do. And then I fell out of love with that because of the kind of the drug situation in the restaurant. I never really wanted to be around that. I never really wanted to be a part of that. So I kind of just fell out of love with cooking. And I decided to go back, and I asked Uncle Jimmy one day, "Hey, Uncle Jimmy, you got any work for me?" He says, "Bro, you want to work? Yeah, come work then." And then I went to go work, and he asked me, "How much you want to get paid?" And I just told him straight up, "Whatever you want to pay me, bro. I don't care about the money." And he's like, "Every other freaking kid calls me up. He wants $25 an hour. I'm like, you're worth 12." You know, like, so I never really got into it for the money. But right off the bat, I work with him and his son. His son is Cisco K2, a phenomenal stone setter, phenomenal tile guy. He's 10 years younger than me, but I honestly think that he's probably better at what he does, you know, especially with the big tile and stuff like that. Swimming pools, I like to say, without sounding like a conceited weirdo, I'm the best in the business when it comes to pool tile in Hawaii. From as far as everything that I've seen and the people that I've worked with and around, I'm quality-wise the best around as far as I've seen. And Jimmy's the reason why I went on my own. I worked for him, and he fired me.
To kick you out.
He literally fired me. He says, "Bro, you can't be with me anymore. You're too good."
He knew.
And I was like, "I'm never going to be too good. I'm not good enough yet. I still have a lot to learn." He says, "Well, then you go teach your damn self how to be."
If he didn't fire you, you wouldn't have left.
Never.
Right.
I would have stayed with him. Yeah. I'm a loyalist. I'm a loyalist. I'm a super, super loyal guy. In every aspect of my life, I'm a loyalist. Like, I stick with my stupid football team because they lose every year, but I'm a loyalist, man. I'll be a Vikings fan, but yeah, you know what I mean? So I don't, places that I go to eat at too, I'm loyal to them because of the way that they treat me, you know, the personal relationship you build with the people that work there. The small businesses that I support around, this is why I like being here too, because I got to let you guys know, I think, you know, Steven knows this about me. I want to support anybody who supports other people, and the people that support other people without, you know, like we were talking about earlier, without any expectation of return, are literally that's my people. That's the people that I want to support all the time. When I saw you guys are doing this and this new business and your business, you guys are going. I follow you guys on social media. I get super pumped. I'm just like, yeah, anything that I could do to help out in any way, shape, or form, even if it's just being here doing a little interview with you, I'm all for 100%. And because I'm a loyalist.
And I think, especially in Hawaii, and I know I talk with this pretty much whoever I interact with, like, we live on an island. You know what I mean? We have to support each other. Because that's just how I grew up. You know what I mean? And that's what we know. Yeah. So our goal is to bring that back.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I try. I really try. I try to put it out to my kids too, as far as, you know, what you should be doing.
Right.
As far as supporting who you're going to support. Right. Support the small guys first. The small guys, like the mom and pop stores, like Waikani Store. You know, I went there on Friday, and like, I try to go there every time that I go out the country from Kailua. I try to stop by there and support them. It might be a little bit more expensive for their chicken, but I don't care. Right. That's a mom and pop store, been around from day one, and they need us to survive. Waihole Poi Factory. Those are places that I literally support loyally forever. I don't even need to stop and eat. But I want to, because every little bit counts. You know what I mean? Especially for these really small operations that get pushed out by big corporations that come from the mainland, hire all kinds of freaking people.
And there's a lot of local, like, small businesses by local. There's a lot of us out there. Yeah. You know what I mean? There's a lot. And every little bit of support helps. You know, and it all starts with us. Yeah. You know, we can't change anyone, but we can, you know, have mindful intentions. Right. As far as, like, what we do.
That's funny that you say the word mindful.
Why?
That's my word of the month. That's my word of the month. It's something that I just got back from a trip to Fiji. I was brought out to Fiji to tile the swimming pools on Omotu Island. Specifically me. I was asked for my name. My buddy Mike reached out to them and wanted me to go over there and tile the swimming pools. And just to let you guys all know, I went out there for free. I didn't get paid. I didn't want to get paid. I didn't care about the money. I went out there for the experience, and oh boy, was it an experience.
That's priceless.
To be that far away. Oh yeah, that's why I say you can't really put a price on that. But mindfulness is something I was telling my son. My 11-year-old son, he's an 11-year-old. Sometimes they're not very mindful. They're not paying attention to everything, but they mean that they have great intentions, but they're not mindful. So I told him, hey, this month we're going to focus on being mindful. What does that mean, Dad? Being mindful, thinking about other people first, and thinking about what your actions are going to create as far as repercussions to your actions. And be mindful of yourself, be mindful of others, and be mindful of what you say and what you do, because that's all going to be a reflection of who you are when you get older.
100%.
And I believe in, nowadays we're not being taught mindfulness.
No.
When we were young, when we was young, we used to get mindfulness beat into you
Right,
when you was a
every
little kid,
day.
right? Like,
whether you like it or not.
are you dumb, or you're not even thinking about other people, probably, all that kind of stuff.
You know
but,
better.
I've based my entire life on being mindful and being respectful, especially to those who can teach you things, whether you're young or old. I think that being mindful is probably the number one key to being successful, not only in business but in life.
Right.
And I like the word a lot. So that's my word for the month.
I see.
And I only got a few days left of the month, but that's been my word.
So you have a word every month?
I do, yeah.
We're gonna have to share words of the month.
Well, I have my word already for next month too, as well.
Okay, hold that. Don't. I'll contact you in February. We can share word of the month. I love that. I love it.
I mean, it's something that you can base your word on what you do in everything in life, right? Your personal relationships, your business, all that kind of stuff. Yeah. So.
What would you tell, knowing what you know now, being through what you've been through? What would you tell your young self at the age of probably like 15? What would you tell your young self? What advice?
That's funny. That's a question that gets thrown around a lot. What would you do with the knowledge you have now back then?
Right.
I wouldn't do anything. To be honest with you, I would just remind myself to be who you are, and always stay true to who you are, especially if you consider yourself a good person. Right. And as far as I'm concerned, I've never tried to do anybody harm. I've never tried to be, have ill will towards anybody ever. I don't think that way. I'm not wired that way. I think that just be true to yourself and be a good person. It's the same thing I tell my kids: be respectful, be kind, be courteous, empathetic, and be you.
Be a good human.
Be original. Yeah, be original. Be yourself.
Right. Yeah. I think it's hard even with kids nowadays. You know what I mean? Because they have so many different influences. It's different growing up now compared to how when we grew up. So different with technology, social media.
They're inundated with information on the spot. It's a whole different ballgame.
And everything is instant.
Yeah. That's the whole instant gratification thing. I write poems and stuff like that too. That's something else that I do aside from my business. I'm an entertainer too as well, right? I do poetry and I sing in a punk band, all that kind of stuff. Artistic stuff.
You're very artistic. Yeah. Expressing yourself.
My mind just is like that.
Right.
It's really weird. It's probably super frustrating for people that know me.
Or it's like, look for your services, or how can they contact you?
They can contact me by either Googling my name. I do social media. I'm a public, I won't say public figure, but I'm a public figure. My personal account, 808 Family Man on Instagram is a public account. My Facebook is set to private, so you have to request. My page on Instagram for Artistone Hawaii is artistone_Hawaii. That's where you can see all of my work. I try to keep track of pretty much everything that I do. I do a lot of time-lapse photography and put an artistic spin on what you're looking at a little bit. Yeah. And then, my Facebook would be under my name, Warren Hassett, of course. And then I'm a guy that goes on and, Steven knows. I'm pretty sure you figured it out too. I do a lot of live stuff because I like, the reason why I speak to people with that platform basically is because people continue to ask me to do so. I've gotten messages, I've been inundated with messages before about something that I've said or something that I've done. I did a video, I just shared it yesterday on Facebook. It's a video I did 9 years ago about working hard and being where we're at and how kids are lazy and not being taught how to, remanufacture or rebuild what's failing as far as infrastructure and stuff is concerned. That went at 987,000 views in a couple months, 1,500 shares, 1 million comments. And I think what it is, it resonated with a whole bunch of people that are frustrated with their own kids being lazy. And then so that was kind of like really, I ended up making a couple of now really good friends, like real good friends. From that, who would have thought I would have met somebody from a video I put out on the internet and it became actual friends, like come to my house, celebrate my birthday with me, kind of friends. And when people ask me to do stuff like that, speak on a certain subject, please. My buddy Mitch from Bike Factory all the time, bro, you got to go out and say something. okay, I'll do that for you, and I'll go out and I'll say something, and I think that I don't do edited videos. Everything is live.
Sometimes you just have to go because everything comes from the heart.
I'm the master of run-on sentence, man. I'm telling you right now, you try to edit my videos, it ain't gonna happen, bro. It's gonna be like, oh, is that guy straight like 110% putting gear? You know, like
that's just how Warren talks. That's all.
So I do that, and I try to just, you know, put out positive energy and input and real talk.
Right.
You know, like
no, I've seen your lives, and it's awesome because it's all talk from the heart.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Yeah. And I think that's what resonates with people because you can feel it. You know, you're not being fake by any means. Like there's nothing fake about it. Like, and you're talking to impact people in a positive way. On
that note, that's one of the reasons why I follow you guys too. You know when he does the little things, the interviews at Mika, let's go.
Oh yeah, what are you doing today?
No, that's real. That's real stuff. You guys aren't trying to gather views and likes, and it's like real life, and that's something I appreciate.
And it's just to spare the moment.
And then I'm like, and then my thing with you being a woman business owner in a situation where small business is nearly impossible to be successful in this state.
Yes, in this state.
And then also being a woman in kind of like a man dominated industry is it's impressive to me, and I appreciate that a lot. So I follow things like that. I pay attention to stuff like that.
I can't do it alone. I have a good support system, and my kids and my family. You know what I mean?
Right.
I you know,
it's very obvious.
I wouldn't be where I'm at today if I didn't have that support and love, and you know, doing what I'm sure you have. You know, huge support system. It all starts at home. Yeah. Okay, so since this is Always Support Local, I'm going to ask you the question. What does Always Supporting Local look like for you? Or how do you support local when you think of that?
Well, how I support local, just kind of like in a nutshell, as you know, we're able to go online and purchase anything that we want from Temu, Shein, Amazon, all these companies. But what I do to always support local is I always look for somebody who's manufacturing, working, or based in Hawaii specifically for a product that I want. For instance, fishing lures. I can get an entire box of fishing lures from Temu for $5.
Right.
I'd rather spend $20 on 2 lures from a guy who made them here in Hawaii.
Handmade.
100%.
Right.
And not only handmade, probably better quality, of course, but then also supporting that person's family and livelihood without, you know, having to go and be a cheapskate. Food-wise too, like if I go out to eat, I like small restaurants. You won't catch me really going to Cheesecake Factory or Ruby Tuesdays. Every once in a while, maybe. But I'm a local restaurant guy first and foremost, and then as far as, you know, all the other services that you can get, like mechanics wise, you know, auto detailing wise, printing wise, I'm not gonna go send my stuff off to some company in China that's gonna do it for half the price and then come back with a iffy quality thing. I'm gonna reach out to the person that's here first, that I feel I can work with and trust. Always support local first.
Right.
First and foremost, because like you were saying earlier, we live on an island and we live in a place that's ridiculously expensive to live in.
Correct.
And if we don't support each other in that whole realm, a lot of people end up moving away and then starting their business that's a locally based business somewhere else, and they get support from their community. I would much rather support somebody in my own community for a service or a product far before I go outside of the community. There are times that I'll go outside of the community just because something that I want isn't necessarily available, you know, to purchase or to support. But as far as always supporting local, I always, even my kids are like that too. My wife is like that. We want to go to the farmer's market and, you know, or the craft fair and support somebody that does it here. Right. That the money's going to stay here and it's going to boost our economy and make our economy just a little bit easier to deal with. And that's basically what always supporting local looks like to me. Right. And I always shout out. I do live videos and I'll shout out to a certain family that does this, you know, Shout out to Okada Bento, bro. Lyndon's the man. I go out of my way to say, I'm hungry. I'm gonna drive 45 minutes to go to this little hole in the wall that's been around for 35, 45 years, and it's just him.
It's just him cooking.
It's him.
Taking orders, doing everything.
Everything.
Yeah.
And I feel good doing it too.
You do. It's like giving back.
Do. No, and it is.
Totally
It is.
back.
It is giving back. And people don't maybe not like necessarily realize that spending the extra $2. I mean, think about it. I can, like I said, order something online, one T-shirt, or I could have you print my T-shirt.
Right.
You could charge me $5 more, just for instance. I'll pay that $5 without hesitation. It's not gonna break me. $3, even $10. It's not gonna break me. I'd way rather keep that money here and support a family that's gonna be thriving and exist longer, and then make a personal connection with the person who happens to own that business or whatever, and then continue to support. So that's the other thing that I think that a lot of people lose track of is continuously supporting local. Not just at one time because it was there, or it just happened to be there, but like literally seeking out local product or services first.
Being mindful.
Exactly. For
word
sure.
of the month.
Yes.
Warren's word of the month. Mindful.
Yeah. And that's basically what always supporting local looks like to me, is somebody that does look for something that's locally manufactured, made, or produced here first in your community. And when I say also local too, I'll look for a Kailua family, right? Because I live there. And it's not saying I wouldn't go outside of Kailua to get a service or a product that's outside there, but in Hawaii. But I'm looking in Kailua first. Yeah. And then this might sound a little funky, so you can put this on or not. And we get a lot of military in Kailua.
Oh yeah. And
get the booth right here. Look at these people doing flowers and all that kind of stuff. And then get this flower guys right next door. These guys are from Waimanalo, Kahalu, Haula. These guys are from, I don't have any idea. They're only going to be here for 4 years, but they want to get my money and so that they can support their habits or their lifestyle, even though they already get paid. And guess whose booth I'm going to?
The Waimanalo one.
That's right, 100%. I want to go to that person's booth because that money's going to stay here, and it's a supporting a family that's here and going to stay here continuously.
Right. I'm so glad you took time out of your busy day to come talk story with us.
I'm glad you guys invited me. This is something that I.
It was awesome. Definitely going to have you back though. Definitely.
Yeah.
Because we can talk about more of,
I would be honored. I would be honored to help. Spread your guys' word too, and the awareness that you guys have as far as being people that support local as well, small business minded, in a really, really rough environment to be in. And I of course wish you guys the hugest prosperity and the best of luck. I don't believe in luck though.
No, we work hard.
I believe in hard work. That's the one thing, you kids out there, remember that hard work beats talent 100% of the time.
Facts.
I don't care how good you are at something. If you ain't gonna work hard at it, you're not gonna succeed as much as the person that works their butt off to attain that particular goal.
100%.
Yeah.
Warren's wisdom.
Yeah. That's another.
There you go.
I did this thing, my live Wednesday Warren Wisdom. Every Wednesday I went on for about a month straight, and as every Wednesday I go up and do a 45-minute live video on Facebook about real life in general, and see how people respond to it and get the responses and get into fiery online debates with people about stuff that they have no idea or I have no idea about.
But let's talk about it.
But it's life, you know what I mean? Right. So yeah, I would be more than happy to come back for you guys for sure.
Yes, definitely have Warren back. So thank you for stopping by and listening to us talk story. And remember,
always support local.
All right, we'll talk to you soon. Stay blessed.
Peace.